Hi, Dirty Girl here with another vintage sales results video from Etsy, mostly Etsy, a little tiny bit eBay. This is for the month of January, and I show you my more interesting or profitable sales for the month. And my shop is vintagedazzle.etsy.com, and here's your favorite kitty, my favorite kitty, who may or may not stay here on my lap while I do this. She's not much of a lap cat, but sometimes I think if she's cold she'll sit in my lap, but nah, she's gonna go away. Okay, sorry, had to let her out. We're going to start with this opal pendant. It is a gold washed sterling silver. I paid $8 for that at the flea market, and it sold for $42. And next up is this sort of tennis bracelet looking, except it's pretty old. It's Art Deco sterling silver and amethyst. Let's see, I got that from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and it sold for $45. And next up is this carved camphor chest made in Hong Kong, sometime from the 1920s to the 1950s, has brass hardware. I love selling these boxes. I find them fairly often. This is, I don't know, the third or fourth one I've sold. I paid $15 for it at the flea market, and I sold it for $68. And this is a Canateel spun sterling silver filigree round flower brooch. I got that also at the flea market. I paid $13 for that, and I sold it for $39. I love these spun silver pieces of jewelry. I buy them quite often. And this, I think, is probably the best sale I made this month, or in January rather. This is a really nice old antique beaded and embroidered purse with fringe. I paid $25 for that at the flea market and sold it for $135. And this is a silk textile that came from my sister-in-law. Let's see if I can show you this. It had some damage on it. In particular, there's a little hole right there. There's a little stain. There was some quite obvious insect damage. So I had, there, you can see, I had these holes in it that were insect damage. And so I had it priced pretty low. But it was really interesting. This woman contacted me and she said she wanted it because it had the damage, because she was putting together a museum show. So my textile's going to be in a museum show. And I paid nothing for that. It came from my sister-in-law, and I sold it for $25. And this is a carved wooden expanding bookshelf sort of thing. It is from India. I paid $10 for that at the flea market and sold it for $35. Sold very quickly also. And this is a 935 silver, which is a little bit better than sterling. A Jerusalem cross. These are quite popular, and they always sell. I paid $15 for this one, and it sold for $65. And I think I got it at the flea market. And this I got at the flea market also. Isn't he cute? He's Mexican silver elephant brooch. Pretty large piece. It was more than 15 grams of silver, and dated to the 1930s. I paid $6 for him, which was a great find, and sold him for $32. Probably could have sold him for more than that. And this is a Japanese lacquer box, probably dating from the mid-century era. This is fun because it's got, let's see if I can show you, it's got this beautiful inlaid mother of pearl But it's also got all these little sections inside. They call these bendo boxes or bendo style sushi box. I got that at an antiques mall. I paid $12 for it, and I sold it for $58. This is another fun one. This one came from my mother-in-law, so I paid nothing for this. It is an Anton Michelson. Let's see if I can find the mark on it. It's a mid-century modern porcelain pendant made for Royal Copenhagen. There's the Royal Copenhagen mark. And there on the bail, that triangle with the AM in it is the Anton Michelson. There's the 925 sterling, and there's this mark also. Michelson is a Danish designer. Any Scandinavian stuff, I grab it up. It sells so well, especially mid-century stuff. And wait for it, this sold for $85, so pretty cool. I think just the bail was sterling silver. The pendant itself was ceramic or porcelain. And this is another sterling silver piece, birds on a nest, Victorian. I think that I estimated the date to the 1940s, sort of a Victorian revival. I paid $4 for that at the flea market and sold it for $45. I'm not sure now, at this point, why I dated it to the 1940s. Must have had a reason. And this appears to be an African brooch made of ebony and sterling silver with 18-karat gold accents. It was marked PIRU, but I was not able to figure out what that was or what it referred to. I got that from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $45. It's really a pretty piece. And another paperweight. This is a Millefiori hand-blown art glass paperweight. Murano style. I believe it was unmarked. So I paid $8 for that, and I sold it for $28. The ones that are marked Murano you can usually get quite a bit more for. And this is a copper crumb catcher. It was had some nice marks on it that I was able to research, and it's JS and SB. It had lovely Art Nouveau poppy embossing, so it was easy to date to the turn of the century. And I paid $10 for that at the flea market and sold it for $52. And let's see, these are some opal and sterling silver earrings. These also came from my sister-in-law, I believe. Really nice quality opals. Those blue-green Australian opals, really nice. I think it also had some little diamonds, maybe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It had some little amethysts in it. A nice combination of colors. I really like those. And sterling silver, of course. And those sold for $42. Been selling a lot of opals lately. Here's a Vera Newman scarf. I haven't sold one of those in a while. 1950s. Has a very small Vera. There's all kinds of ways to date the marks, but they're a little confusing. It's silk, came from my sister-in-law, paid nothing for that, sold it for $28. And this is a Navajo sterling silver ring. Call it Fred Harvey style because Fred Harvey was a designer that did these rings that look just like this, and this may be one of his pieces, but it was unmarked. It's kind of a dome ring with these little satellite little balls around the edge. Let's see, what else can I tell you? From the 1960s probably, and that came from my sister-in-law. Paid nothing for that, sold it for $45. And this is a brass filigree belt buckle from the 1930s in a beautiful peacock feather pattern. Really nice Art Deco metal work. I paid $2 for that and sold it for $32. Yeah, I remember I dug that out of a $2 box from a lady who has really nice stuff and really nice taste, so it was a little surprising to find it in her $2 box. And this is a sterling silver multi-stone ring with amethyst and citrine and peridot and I don't know what else. Just a nice basic ring. I paid $12 for that, sold it for $32. And this is an 1800s Victorian pin, sterling silver with some nice enamel work, a little bow motif. I paid $15 for that at the flea market and sold it for $52. And this is a little doll furniture set made by Strombecker, which is a good name to look for in wooden doll furniture. Little table and 2 chairs. Paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $26. Another sterling silver ring, another Native American, probably Zuni, coral, malachite, mother of pearl, a little bit of turquoise, signed MGD. I think I was not able to figure out who that was. Yeah, I guess I didn't know who MGD was. Let's see, I paid $11 for that, and I sold it for $42. These are some R.C. Gorman lithograph glass tiles. He's a very popular Native American Southwestern artist that I have sold before. It's 1970s, so not super old. These are 7 3/4 inch squares. They come in different sizes. But I sold, let's see, did these? Oh yes, these came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for these, and I sold the 2 of them together for $35. And then just a couple of little eBay things to show you. This was kind of interesting. This came from a lot of stuff that my friend gave me. Some old pennies. There's a couple of Wheaties, a really old one from 1853, and some Indian head pennies. None of these were rare dates. In fact, they were all fairly common and not in any kind of super great condition. I sold the lot for $25. And this is a lot of ski pins, little tack back souvenir pins from different ski areas, mostly from the United States. And they came from like the 70s and 80s, and these were in the stuff that my friend gave me again. So I paid nothing for that and sold it for, oh, you can see right there, $46.06. At auction it went surprisingly high. I think I started it out at about $25 and it had 9 bids. So that was great. So that's it. That's all I have to tell you. I will be back soon with a haul video. And again, my shop is vintagedazzle.etsy.com. And thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment and share and I don't know what else. Whatever you do with videos. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.